Got a timeout on the floor that brought us to a break in the action as Gonzaga's Chuck Harris went up for a bucket. Jaden Ivey went up and contested. There was no foul called, and Harris a little worse for the wear.
Well, he's still rubbing that right leg, and you can see a lot of mid-air contact right there. The apparent ruling on the floor. Nice job there to come up with that loose ball. But the rule on the floor, and I think this is one that's often misunderstood, the plane of verticality, you are allowed to leave your feet so long as you maintain that vertical plane. And that was apparently the ruling, is that the offensive player was the one kind of going east to west and the defensive player staying north to south.
Jaden Ivey doing a nice job of preventing that bucket. Terrence Williams continues to be frustrated as he comes up empty on that attempt. 4 of 16.
Yeah, and you know what, Williams, that was another example, though, of being trapped by the shot clock. Had just 3 on the clock there and didn't really have anywhere to go. If you pass that ball, you put one of your teammates in a bad spot, so he didn't have any choice but to try and get that one up on the rim.
After the turnover, Gonzaga will get another crack at it, trying to chip away at what is a 4-point deficit. Miles Stute into the game. This is Judah Mintz working on Jaden Ivey. Sophomore gets the screen, leaves his feet. Great pass from Dinkins back to Mintz, who couldn't English it off the glass over the top of Thompson. And it stays with Gonzaga.
And that's a play that Mintz is going to finish in the coming years. You can see that frame just starting to fill out. Got all kinds of natural ability, and then his body changes. Those plays are going to become much easier for him to finish inside.
Chuck Harris in there trying to work his offense, and he does. Maybe not 100%, but still good enough there for Harris. Banged up, finishing, taking it into the paint. Certainly encouraging signs of toughness for that point guard. A flip of the rim by Green, no, but Sohan with the follow.
Good hands that time. Sohan, another guy who's been quiet tonight, but tell you what, if you can make contributions down this one, this has the looks of a game that's going to go down to the very last possession.
Take inside, Judah Mintz for 2.
Again, we talked about it. Scores in different ways at a young age, showing the body control that time. That is a tough, tough finish.
Foul on Terrence Williams. Lumiere will have it side out. This is Judah Mintz. Beautiful job by the sophomore.
Yeah, the left to right cross and then the up and under mid-air finish. Impressive stuff from the youngster.
Averages just under 10 points a game. He's got 12 for Gonzaga here today. Leads Gonzaga. Leading scorer for Lumiere is Wendell Green. He's got the basketball above his head right now.
He's been the most dynamic offensive guy on the floor today.
Thompson steps out for 3.
It's a shot he's going to be able to make. And I tell you what, you start projecting him out long term, the last 10 seconds tells you almost everything you need to know. Watch the way he changed ends. He runs the floor with long, fluid strides. He's got the potential to stretch the floor. And in the modern game, those two things are critical for big men.
Evan Dinkins with a go-ahead three-pointer and just back-to-back buckets. Suddenly Gonzaga's 4-point deficit's turned into a 1-point lead. Kamari Lands has been quiet for a while, but not there.
He has been quiet for a while. That one gets him into double figures. He got off to that quick start, but Gonzaga really done a nice job of locking him up on the defensive end since.
Oh, a little bit of contact there from Stute. Up and under, no. Stute the follow, lands the foul.
That's what it is. You know, when you're not getting touches and easy looks, you go get your own offense. That's what Stute did there.
Foul on Kamari Lands for Lumiere out of LaPorte, Indiana. About 20 minutes outside of Notre Dame. 7 appearances at the Geico National the last 8 years, including winning one One back in 2017.
And that the values could say scholarships as well as it could say scholarship, because they've had a lot of scholarship players over the years.
You know, for Gonzaga, in talking with head coach Stephen Turner, he thinks that 11 of the 13 guys on his roster right now are going to be guys that will have opportunities if they choose to go play at the Division I level.
Well, when you look at his roster and the amount of youngsters that are on the team, and this is very much a group where you see promotion from within. You know, the guys who we're watching right now who are the senior leaders, Williams and Studi and Harris, those guys were the role players when they were younger, just like we're seeing with the likes of Judah Mintz and Malcolm Dredd, some of these other guys. So there's going to be escalation over the years. That has been the case with this Gonzaga team.
It's a Gonzaga team that today has played 9 different players. Drayton Thompson, the only man off the bench today for Lumiere. They've gone with just 6 guys so far today.
A little bit of a shorter rotation for sure. But, you know, in a high school game's shorter with more breaks. I don't think, you know, if you have, if you're healthy and you don't have a lot of injuries, you can afford to play with a smaller bench, especially at the tempo we're seeing here today.
Dinkins rolls off the rim. Thompson fights for the rebound. Instead, the foul called on Chuck Harris.
Like the hands, though, from the big fella Thompson. Able to pull that ball out of traffic, even away from his body.
We'll see what Thompson's made with the free throw line here. We saw him the last trip down the court. A couple of big free throws in the closing minutes.
Well, and that's why you like the future of this Lumiere program, because when you have Thompson and Lands coming back, you've got a terrific duo to build around. And, you know, you add another couple of high-level guards around there to replace, of course, Ivy and Green, and you're going to be loaded again next year.
It'll be a totally different look for a high school team to build around a 6'10" player as your pseudo star, rather than having your guards who can control the basketball every time down the court.
But I'll tell you what, you know, you think back to guys like, you know, Jaren Jackson, and Lalu has had big guys, and they know how to play inside out.
Jaren Jackson went on to play at Michigan State. First round pick, 4th overall. Just a couple years back by the Memphis Grizzlies. Take on the inside. Williams has a roll off, and you can just see the body language.
And I've literally never, the shots he's missing here tonight are so out of character. They're shots that I've literally never seen him miss. And that's not a knock on him. That's to say he's, you know, I think you got to recognize that, hey, he's still getting to his spots. It's just not his night. And still showing the versatility in terms of being able to shoot the three, post up smaller guys, take bigger guys off the dribble.
There's the miss, and I think if you're Gonzaga, you've got to be encouraged by the fact that you're still only down just 2 points despite your star player.
No question. No question. And they've really done the same thing to Lumiere as we talk about how Ivy really hasn't gotten it going offensively today either. Green's really been the only guy in a great offensive rhythm for either team, and I think a big reason why is the collective defense that you've seen on both sides.
2-point lead in the basketball. Lumiere. Gets it over to Kamari Lands, who shuffles his way. Without Jaden Ivey on the basketball court right now. And a travel by Lands.
Yeah, I thought when he coughed that ball up, then he had to try and start from scratch. He was in a tough spot. The defense was already loaded up on him. Might have been better moving it and trying to chase it into a ball screen or get some other kind of action going. Final possessions of this one. Just a 2-point game.
Gonzaga works it inside. Dinkins misses the inside layup, and it's out of bounds. Lumiere basketball.
I think Dinkins was surprised at how open he was. I think he was almost the decoy in that play because Steve Turner was running 2 different guys off that back screen. Dinkins was the first cutter. Almost surprised that he was totally uncontested at the rim.
We've got a nail-biter here in the first of 4 games across the ESPN family of networks today. And coming up next, Rancho Christian in Camden. You've got the #1 recruit in Evan Mobley. Camden, well, they've got Lance Ware.
Yeah, that's going to be the matchup there. Mobley versus Lance Ware. Lance Ware, of course, headed to Kentucky. Mobley going to USC, where maybe he'll join his brother if he doesn't look to make an early jump to the NBA. But that's going to be a fun one. Don't go anywhere. The action is just going to keep getting better. And then we got another number one at 6 o'clock, Jonathan Kuminga and the Patrick School taking on IMG Academy.
Kuminga, number one in the ESPN 60, so the top junior in the country. It's a loaded weekend here in Springfield. About a 10-second differential between shot clock and game clock. So Gonzaga can play straight-up defense here. No need to foul. They pressure the inbound. Wendell Green Jr. with it.
I think that was a smart decision there from Green to wave off that ball screen, not allow Gonzaga to trap him.
Judah Mintz is pestering him on ball with defense. A strip. Gonzaga goes for the loose ball. Instead, it's Ivy with the slam.
Climb the ladder and put it away.
Not just put away the hammer, but perhaps put away the ball game. It's a two-possession game with under 10 seconds to go.
Just when it looked like things weren't working out. Good Lord.
Check out SportsCenter later on tonight. You could be looking at a top 10 play by the Purdue commit. You know, he was on the bench with about a minute to go, and I'm thinking, wonder why Jaden Ivey's on the bench. Well, they bring him off the bench out of the timeout, and he's making his presence known.
Well, that's what great players do, is they step up when things matter the most, and they mattered the most right there. I mean, they were about to cough that ball up. Gonzaga had a chance to go the other way, potentially win the game. Instead, you see the highlight of the day, and Lumiere has a 4-point game because of it. Check it out one more time. This was a big-time play. Loose ball. Watch him climb the ladder.
You knew it was a big play because all of a sudden the entire row of bleachers behind us just suddenly stood up. Out of my peripheral, I'm suddenly seeing people jumping all over the place.
And remember, this is a guy who people have questioned his athleticism over the years. They say, yeah, he's pretty skilled, but he doesn't have a whole lot of pop in his legs. Well, sometimes the athleticism comes around a little bit later. And as I said in the open, I think this is a player who we know he's skilled, but I think his physical tools and explosiveness are just starting to catch up.
We saw some explosiveness, no doubt there. Williams, the catch, the shot, no. Poked out of bounds. Lumiere up 4 with the basketball, just a couple of ticks to go.
And that one here, I think Gonzaga's going to try and deny and then maybe get a quick steal. If not, this will be the end. Ooh, risky.
Throws it deep, out of bounds, right at us.
Good catch.
Thanks. Got to keep our head on a swivel over here, too, Adam.
Save the camera, too.
That wingspan.
There you go. Got a lot of defensive upside next to me here.
Limited mobility in this folding chair, though. The foul and free throws coming up for Lumiere.
And no quit from Gonzaga, as you would expect.
A lot of hanging heads on Gonzaga's sideline. No doubt about that, where you were down, you fought back, you took a late lead here in the fourth quarter with that Dinkins three-pointer, but it just wasn't enough left in the tank.
Well, listen, anytime you lose, it's going to be disappointing. But when you lose knowing you didn't play your best, I think that's particularly hard. And Terrence Williams knows this wasn't his best showing here tonight.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Rancho Christian. They've got the #1 recruit in the country, Evan Mobley. That's reason enough for me. Also, Kentucky commit Lance Ware. And that, it's a capper on game 1 of 13 that we've got for you this weekend. Lumiere 47-42 over Gonzaga. Top 25 matchup goes to the team from LaPorte, Indiana. For Adam Finkelstein, I'm Adam Giardino. Thanks to our entire crew. Keep it tuned right here. Hoop Hall Classic rolls on. Plenty more high school hoops to come at you the rest of the weekend.